Something absolutely wild is happening inside USA basketball right now, and fans can't stop arguing about it. Overnight, a explosive rumor spread like wildfire, claiming that Caitlin Clark, the biggest star in women's basketball, is ready to walk away from Team USA if Paige Bueckers gets a roster spot before her. And suddenly, every corner of the internet is melting down. Clark fans are furious, Paige fans are clapping back, analysts are confused, and somehow a simple preseason conversation turned into a full-blown national debate about favoritism, politics, jealousy, and the future of Team USA. But what really sparked this chaos? Why did this rumor explode so fast? And is there even a shred of truth behind the claim that Caitlin Clark would refuse the national team because of Paige Bueckers? Tonight, we're breaking down the entire wildfire moment by moment, because nothing about this situation is as simple as it looks. It started like almost every modern sports controversy starts. A random social media post, a quick comment under a highlight clip, and a fan theory that somehow gained momentum at the speed of light. One TikTok creator said, "Clark isn't playing for Team USA if Paige gets selected first," and within hours that tiny spark turned into a trending hashtag. And the timing made it even more intense. Team USA roster conversations were already heating up, fans were already arguing about fairness, and the spotlight on women's basketball has never been brighter. So as soon as that claim was posted, people believed it instantly. Screenshots flew across X, debates erupted on Reddit, and YouTube live streams started dissecting the drama before anyone could even breathe. But this wasn't really about one viral post. It was something deeper, something that had been building for years, and the moment that rumor appeared, it triggered every controversy the fan base had buried under the surface. And to understand why fans reacted so aggressively, we have to go back to the one thing that always stirs the pot in American basketball: Team USA politics. But this wasn't the whole story. Team USA basketball is legendary, but it's also notorious for something fans don't like to talk about: politics. For decades, selection wasn't just about talent, it was about seniority, reputation, relationships, and loyalty to the program. Younger players often waited years for a chance, even if they were more talented or more impactful in the moment. And the women's team has always leaned heavily toward veterans, especially during Olympic cycles. We've seen it time and time again. Rising stars get pushed aside. Young phenoms get told, "Wait your turn." The program builds around experience, not hype. And usually that works. They win, they dominate, they stay unbeatable. But for the first time in years, the system is being challenged by an entirely new generation, one that has more influence, more fans, and more media attention than the old system was prepared to deal with. And that is where Caitlin Clark enters the story. Because what happened next changed everything. Caitlin Clark didn't just become a star, she became a global force. She's the biggest ratings generator in women's basketball history, breaking attendance records, selling out arenas, and pulling in millions of viewers like it's nothing. With one shot, one pass, one logo three, she shifts the entire conversation around the sport. And inside USA basketball, people know it. Rumors from analysts say that behind closed doors, officials want Clark on the national team because she brings something: priceless visibility, global reach, and a fan base bigger than entire leagues. She isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon. But where there's power, there's pressure. And as Clark's influence grew, fans started wondering, would Team USA embrace her, or would politics hold her back? And the deeper question was, would the rise of Caitlin Clark disrupt the old system entirely? That question became even louder when another name stepped into the spotlight. Because she wasn't the only superstar in the conversation. Before Caitlin Clark dominated headlines, Paige Bueckers was the face of the future. The moment she arrived at UConn, she became a national phenomenon: flashy playmaking, clutch performances, charisma that pulled fans into the sport. Even after injuries, her star power never faded. In fact, it grew. Her comeback became a storyline fans couldn't stop following. Sponsorships, media attention, fan support, Paige had it all. And as she returned stronger than ever, the idea of her joining Team USA sooner rather than later started popping up in conversations. Reports even suggested that her marketability made her a strong consideration for future rosters, and suddenly fans were comparing the two biggest phenoms of the decade, Clark and Bueckers. It didn't matter that the players themselves get along just fine. The fans rewrote the story, they built a rivalry, and that rivalry became the fuel for the wildfire. And that's exactly when things got personal. It was like a civil war erupted in the women's basketball community. On one side, Clark's fan base, the largest, loudest, most active fan base in the sport. On the other side, Paige's supporters, who had been following her since high school and believed she'd been overshadowed unfairly. The moment the rumor dropped, Clark will refuse Team USA. If Paige is chosen, it was over. Thousands of fans took sides instantly. Clark loyalists argued she'd been disrespected long enough. Paige fans said Clark is scared of real competition. And neutral fans just watched the chaos unfold like a reality show. But none of these arguments came from the players. None came from coaches. None from Team USA. It was all fan-made. Yet the rumor grew so big, so quickly, that people forgot to ask the simplest question, did Caitlin Clark actually say anything like this? And that's where we get to the truth. This is where the entire situation collapses, because Caitlin Clark has never said anything negative about Paige Bueckers. In fact, she praises her openly. She calls Paige one of the best players she has ever faced, and she has repeatedly said she admires Paige's style, talent, and leadership. Not once has Clark hinted she'd refuse Team USA. Not once has she complained about another player being selected over her. Her personality has always been team first, humble, and focused on winning, not drama. So why did fans believe it? Because some controversies don't need truth, they just need tension. And Clark's rise created a tension fans wanted to exaggerate. Which leads us to the real issue behind the chaos. This entire situation didn't just come from one rumor. It came from years of frustration and fandom rivalries that were already boiling beneath the surface. Some fans believe the WNBA veterans don't want Clark to succeed too fast. Others think certain media personalities push negative narratives about her. And on the opposite side, some fans think Clark supporters disrespect other players and inflate her impact. Add in the UConn versus Iowa rivalry, NCAA storylines, old Team USA politics, and endless social media debates, and suddenly the rumor didn't feel like a rumor. It felt like something that fit the narrative fans had already built in their heads. And once millions of people start believing something, even without evidence, the conversation becomes impossible to control. But new information quickly changed the direction of this debate. When actual experts finally weighed in, the story took a sharp turn. Multiple analysts reported that Paige Bueckers is not being considered for a roster spot in this cycle. She's still in the NCAA and not in the current pool. Meanwhile, several insiders have said that Caitlin Clark is very much in the conversation and is expected to be part of Team USA's future plans, if not immediately, then very soon. Her impact, visibility, and skill make her nearly impossible to ignore. So the central rumor collapsed. The idea that Clark would refuse Team USA because of Bueckers made no sense, not now, not later. And that brings us to the truth behind this entire story. Let's break it down simply. No evidence, no quotes, no sources, no insider confirmations, just fan speculation. The entire controversy was built online by people projecting NCAA rivalries, social media arguments, and personal biases onto two athletes who have shown nothing but respect for each other. Clark never threatened Team USA. Paige never pushed for a spot ahead of her. Team USA never pitted them against each other. This was never Clark versus Bueckers. It was fans versus fans. It was narrative versus reality. It was noise versus truth. And when you strip everything away, one thing becomes clear: Caitlin Clark and Paige Bueckers aren't enemies. They're the future. What this moment really showed us is how powerful these two athletes have become. Clark and Bueckers are redefining the sport. They're elevating its visibility, its popularity, its energy. They're bringing in millions of new fans. They're reshaping how the world sees women's basketball. The rumor might have been false, but what it revealed is true. The sport is changing faster than ever, and these two players are leading the transformation. Team USA doesn't need to choose between Clark and Bueckers. Sooner or later, they'll need both. And when that day comes, the conversation won't be about rivalry. It'll be about dominance. It'll be about the rise of a new era. It'll be about the moment two phenoms finally stand on the same side of the court, not as opponents, but as teammates. Because no matter where the debates go, the future of USA basketball is brighter than ever.